The Rams remain active in free agency as they have re-signed another player on the defensive side of the ball. We're going to talk about what this means in terms of roster building for the Rams this offseason. We're also going to discuss a potential free agency signing at the linebacker position that I still think the Rams can go make a cheap signing to kind of bring in veteran leadership to add to the linebacker room. All on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Giron. Remember, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, press that subscribe button now, as 73.2% of you guys are watching the videos, but you're still not subscribed to the channel. Just do me a favor, press that subscribe button so you don't miss any daily Rams content here at the Rams Digest. Before I get into the stories, I want to hear a quick word from the sponsor for today's video. We are incredibly excited to be kicking off our March Madness bracket here for the channel. We're going to be partnering up with the Hot Takes app and other digest channels for this event. It's completely free to sign up. All you got to do is download the Hot Takes app, go ahead and click over the March Madness banner at the top, and under group, select the Digest Media Pool. This is extremely exciting, guys. We're talking about over $25,000 in prizes to be won, and since there's a much smaller pool of people participating, there's a real chance of winning big compared to other bracket challenges out there. Check out the link below or scan the QR code to download the app, and make sure to use the promo code DIGEST in all caps. Again, that's DIGEST in all caps to get exclusive perks when signing up. It's completely free, a serious chance to win. So do me a favor, if you guys have any questions at all, go ahead and hit the email down below. Other than that, thank you to Hot Takes for this opportunity, and I hope to see you all there in the March Madness pool. Okay, at the top of the episode, we are going to talk a little bit about the smart move they made today in free agency by re-signing a player on the defensive side of the ball. Yeah, we're talking about the one-year contract for Akhello Witherspoon, a very key player here for the Rams on the defensive side of the ball. One-year contract, not the best for him, and I would love to see him get a long-term deal just because I think it's something he probably deserves in terms of the work he's put in to get to this point as a veteran player now on this defensive side of the ball. But the Rams are bringing back Akhello Witherspoon for another season, signing him to another one-year contract. It'll be his third year in LA, and I believe it's his third one-year contract in LA. So again, not really the best for him personally, but ultimately smart move by the Rams. You're getting a guy who's a veteran player, someone you can trust, someone you can rely on in big moments to play a very important position for you on the defense side of the ball, but ultimately be a veteran leader as well on a pretty young defense and to a one-year contract so you're not tied to him long term. Now, should the Rams probably look into getting a cornerback still early in the draft? Of course. I think that's obviously important when you're bringing in a guy who's 30 years old. We'll talk a little more details about Akhello Witherspoon in a second, but when you're bringing in a guy who's a veteran, re-signing him to a one-year contract, it just really ultimately does make the most sense. Financially, right, you're probably not really breaking the bank here. I haven't gotten the details on his contract, but I would assume closer to the $3 to $5 million mark for the season next year, and ultimately that's not too bad. Even if it's more than that, ultimately I could live with a $6, $7, even $8 million contract for Akhello Witherspoon. Something I think, one, he deserves, but two, I think it's a one-year deal. You're off of it in a year, and hopefully the Rams can find a future either a draft pick or a future player, long-term starter at the cornerback position in replacement of Akhello Witherspoon after his one-year deal is up. But ultimately, now you're going into the draft. You don't need to draft a corner early. Of course, you probably should when we're talking about some of the guys you have in his defensive back room that ultimately aren't going to be on the roster next season or the season after this upcoming season. And so I think you're still looking at the future. You still definitely want to add a cornerback. You want to add a long-term solution, again, like I just said. But ultimately, you don't have to draft a cornerback early if you sign Akhello Witherspoon, which is a great move, I think, by the Rams to bring him in, bring the veteran guy in that you trust, you can rely on. You're not really stressed about that position going into the draft. One day after addressing the linebacker position by signing Nate Landman, a sneaky good move, by the way. I still stand by that. I see you guys in the comments saying that it's not a sneaky good move. The Rams have now filled another hole on their roster, according to Jordan Schultz of Fox Sports. The Rams are re-signing Akhello Witherspoon to a one-year deal. Third straight offseason, they've signed him to a one-year contract, keeping him in Los Angeles as a key member of the secondary. By the end of last season, Witherspoon was the Rams' top cornerback, playing 98% of the snaps in the team's playoff loss versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Witherspoon, who turns 30 on March 21st, brings experience and talent to the cornerback position for Los Angeles. He's spent the last 2 years in the Rams system, making 22 starts and picking off 4 passes with 23 passes defense total. So overall, again, just a smart signing, good move, very, very sound move by the Rams. Again, just showing they're a world-class organization, really showing why they have been so good for the last few years. Les Snead, everybody else in the room, just making really smart decisions. Nothing too major here, nothing to kind of scream about and go to the top of the mountaintop and scream it out to the world that we brought back Akhello Witherspoon, but definitely something to acknowledge. Very smart move by the Rams moving forward from that. We talked about the linebacker they just brought in terms of Nate Landman. Now we're talking about maybe a veteran linebacker, right? Should we go after C.J. Mosley from the New York Jets? I don't know why it took me a second to remember that. But from the New York Jets, I think this is something I really want the Rams to entertain. Shout out to Dominic Minchella for this story from Sports Illustrated. I think this is something the Rams should look into. Now, I do want to acknowledge off the bat that he was a player who only played 4 games last season, dealt with some injuries, and I think a lot of people have brought that up in terms of why you shouldn't sign a player like C.J. Mosley, dealt with a lot of injuries. Maybe some Jets fans even saying or feeling that he's a little bit on the more washed side of things. I don't like saying that about players, but that's what I've seen in some comments from Jets fans saying they're okay moving on from him because he's maybe at this point getting a little bit to a point where he's quote-unquote washed in his career, not really in his prime, been in the league since 2014, so not something you expect him to be anyways at this point in his career. But you're bringing him in if you're the Rams, haven't done it yet, but just something I think they should look into because you bring him in to be a veteran leader on the defensive side of the ball. That's what he's done his entire career as an inside linebacker, led the team on defense, and pretty good Jets defenses, by the way. I know the Jets have never been a good or great team in our eyes, but they've been a pretty good defense the last few years, so don't sleep on his ability at the linebacker position. According to a recent prediction made by Corey Woodroof, of the for the win, the Rams would bring in veteran linebacker C.J. Mosley to fill some holes left by departed free agents. The veteran Mosley has been a reliable piece to both the Baltimore Ravens and New York Jets over his career. Mosley is the kind of veteran leader in the middle of the defense who could help a Rams team trying to contend for a championship. He could immediately slot in next to Omar Speights, a linebacker, Woodroof wrote. It would be a gamble for the Rams to bring in the veteran who gives, given the injuries he sustained last season, injuries that kept him out 13 of the 17 games for the Jets last year, breaking his full game participation stretch that spanned from 2022 to 2023. So yes, he only played 4 games last season, but we're talking about the last 2 years before that, playing fully playing all 17 games each of the last 2 seasons prior to last year. So, kind of a key thing to note there. He's not a super injury-prone player, at least as of the last 3 years. During his time as a Jet, however, Mosley collected 503 total tackles with 3 seasons in a row, collecting over 100 tackles. As Woodroof stated, the veteran Mosley could slide in right next and up-and-coming linebacker Omar Speights, who had a nice rookie campaign himself. So overall, again, Rams have been doing a good job drafting. They have some nice young pieces. Nate Landman, I think, a sleeper pick at linebacker as well. But I'm just asking them to go bring this guy in. We're talking about C.J. Mosley, to bring him in to kind of lead that defense, to lead the linebacker room, to teach them how to be professionals, to teach them how to read defenses, and to kind of almost be a coach on the field. But ultimately, if he's got anything left in the tank, put that out on the field, lay it out on the line. But we don't need to rely on him necessarily to play all the snaps. We just need him to be healthy enough to kind of play big-time snaps, maybe in certain terms of playoffs. If he's healthy and ready enough to go, I would love to see him in the playoffs leading that defense. But really just be a smart veteran leader who's a good leader in the middle of the defense. That he's been that his entire career. And so I think that's someone I think the Rams should look into. Shouldn't be too expensive due to his injury history the last season. But overall, I think that's my guy who I really would like to see the Rams go after. Moving on from that, trivia of the day. Last trivia of the day. If you guys have never played the game before, we ask a trivia question on the episode and you guys give your guesses in the comments. I'll give you a shout out on the next episode, whether you get it right, whether you get it wrong, we'll shout you out. This was the last episode's trivia of the day. The question was, what pass rushing specialist has played on 5 Super Bowl winning teams more than any other player aside from Tom Brady? What player was that? The multiple choice options was A, Bruce Smith, B, Reggie White, C, Willie McGinnis, or D, Charles Haley. We did have a couple of people play along, so I appreciate you guys commenting your guesses. Here were those guesses right. Here we had Hector Martinez saying Charles Haley. We had Daryl Tolliver saying Charles Haley from James Madison University. We had Brian B saying Charles Haley, I believe. Ben Sanchez saying Charles Haley, and shout out to Floyd playing along another trivia of the day. We appreciate you. Charles Haley was the guest. The answer, as you can probably tell from everyone's guesses, the answer was Charles Haley. And so congrats to all you guys for getting it correct. I don't know if we ever had this many people get 100% correct, so I appreciate you guys guessing. But overall, if you guys have never played this before, you want your name shouted out on the episode just like this one, or these people here, you guys can go ahead and just comment on the trivia of the day for today's trivia. And if you guys get it right, or even if you get it wrong, I'll shout you out on the next episode. If you guys want to get shouted out, then go ahead and give your guesses to this trivia question of the day. Number 31. Whose 5 seasons with 5,000 or more passing yards in a season is the most all-time among NFL quarterbacks? So one more time here. Whose 5 seasons with 5,000 or more passing yards in a season is the most all-time among NFL quarterbacks? The multiple choice options are A, Ben Roethlisberger, B, Dan Marino, C, Tom Brady, or D, Drew Brees. Give your guesses down below in the comments, and I'll give you a shout out whether you're right, whether you're wrong on the next episode. Do me a huge favor, guys. If any of you guys have seen the advertisement at the front of the last few videos, this may be the last video that we're going to have it, because the March Madness tournament is actually starting. The event, the whole event that we've been advertising in the last few episodes, is starting tomorrow, right? As of tomorrow morning, the brackets will lock into place. So if you guys haven't taken advantage of the Hot Takes app, downloading the Hot Takes app, using the code DIGEST to get some free coins and credits over there, and joining the Digest Media pool over there, do me a favor, do that right now, because if you don't do it, you're going to miss the opportunity of possibly winning big money here in this tournament. Free to play. Not that many people are playing along, right? We want more and more people to join, of course, but at the end of the day, you have a real chance to win some real big time money here. So go do me a favor. Check out the Hot Takes app. Go look at the link below. It should be in the pinned comment as well. Just check it out. Look into it. Join for free. Just throw another bracket out there. Mix it up a little bit. Do kind of a couple guesses here and there, especially if you have 4 or 5 brackets already, or 2, 3 brackets already on other apps. Just download this app real quick. Join along with us with the code DIGEST. Join the Digest bracket pool, and we can kind of compete with one another and see who gets the best bracket, for one. But 2, maybe you got a chance to take home some money. So do me a favor. Check out the comment section. Check out the description as well. Any questions at all, email us. But you got to do it by, we're talking Thursday morning before the brackets lock. So do me a favor and check that out. If it's already Thursday afternoon, you watch this video, sorry you missed it. But hopefully you guys didn't, and you're able to join and play along with us. That's going to do it for me on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Giron, and I am out.